You think loyalty will protect you. You think kindness will buy respect. But the truth is, the world is not a sanctuary for the obedient. It is a hunting ground, and if you keep the dog alive inside you, you will be caged, leashed, and fed just enough to stay quiet until the day you are no longer needed. Today, Machiavelli will demand the only transformation that will keep you free. Kill the dog in you and awaken the wolf. You believe you are loyal. You believe you are dependable. You believe that because you keep your promises, because you put others before yourself, because you wait patiently for recognition, the world will repay you with protection and reward. But in the eyes of power, this makes you predictable, and predictable is exploitable. The dog within you is not the animal that tears through the snow with teeth bared. No, it is the animal that waits for a command. It is the one that wags its tail when it should bare its fangs. It is the one that hears the sound of the master's voice and forgets the sound of its own. In the game of survival and domination, this nature is not a virtue. It is a weakness that will be used against you. Machiavelli observed that in politics, in war, in the court of kings, the loyal servant is rarely rewarded for his loyalty. Instead, he is rewarded for his usefulness. And usefulness has an expiration date. The dog serves until the master finds a younger, stronger, more obedient animal to replace it. Then it is discarded, not because it failed in loyalty, but because it was loyal without leverage. The dog craves approval more than victory. It would rather be liked than feared, rather be accepted than respected. This is why it obeys without question. It will watch the gates, it will fetch the prey, it will bow its head in submission. And in doing so, it forgets how to survive without the master's hand. Such a creature is easy to feed, easy to silence, easy to control. But the world you live in is not ruled by benevolent masters. It is ruled by opportunists who see obedience as a resource to be mined until it is empty. They will feed your loyalty with promises. They will stroke your ego with words like trustworthy, reliable, faithful. And you will feel pride, until you notice that pride cannot be eaten, and that while you obeyed, they built their throne upon your back. A dog chained to a post may bark at passing threats, but it cannot hunt. It has forgotten how to move silently, how to stalk, how to take what it needs without permission. It has traded the freedom of the forest for the safety of the yard. And in doing so, it has surrendered its teeth to the master's will. The chain around its neck does not always feel heavy. In fact, it often feels warm. It feels like belonging. But that belonging is conditional. And when the master no longer requires your service, belonging will vanish like smoke. Do you understand now why this part of you must die? Why Machiavelli speaks with contempt for the blindly loyal? Because history has buried countless dogs in unmarked graves, and it has carved the names of wolves into stone. The obedient perish quietly. The cunning endure. The dog within you is a mask you wear when you want to be accepted, but that mask becomes a muzzle. It dulls your instincts. It makes you believe that safety is more important than sovereignty. You become grateful for scraps, grateful for the smallest gestures of kindness, even if they come from those who keep you weak. And here is the most dangerous part. The dog believes it is noble. It believes that enduring hardship without complaint is proof of strength. It believes that being endlessly forgiving, endlessly trusting, endlessly patient is the higher path. But in the world of wolves, such thinking is suicide. Nobility without power is an invitation to be preyed upon. Patience without strategy is simply waiting to be taken advantage of. Those who have power will never respect a creature that depends entirely on their mercy. They may find it convenient, even endearing, but they will never treat it as an equal. You will be kept at the foot of the table, never invited to sit at it. And if you dare to growl when you are mistreated, They will remind you of your place. The dog inside you does not understand that in the wild, loyalty is earned, not given blindly. It thinks that if it just works harder, just obeys longer, just proves itself more devoted, eventually the master will see it as indispensable. But the truth is, the moment you believe you are indispensable is the moment you are most replaceable. The dog waits to be called. The wolf moves when it chooses. The dog's loyalty is unconditional. The wolf's loyalty is calculated. The dog accepts the rules without question. The wolf studies the rules to break or bend them when it serves its survival. The dog hopes. The wolf plans. You may have been told since childhood that being the good dog will earn you protection. In family, in friendship, in love, in work. But that is the lie that keeps you tamed. That is the lie that ensures you will never challenge the hand that feeds you, and those who never challenge the hand that feeds them will always remain beneath it. The dog within you must be exposed. You must look at it without sentiment. You must see how many times it has made you kneel when you should have stood, how many times it has silenced your voice when you should have spoken. How many times it has convinced you to wait for permission when you should have taken what was yours. Because the dog's comfort is the wolf's death, and as long as the dog lives inside you, the wolf will never be born. The wolf does not wake each morning waiting to be told what to do. It does not look up to the sky for permission, nor does it search the faces of others for approval. The wolf begins the day by listening to the silence, reading the wind, and sensing opportunity. Its eyes do not look at the world with submission, but with calculation. Everything is weighed. Risk, reward, cost, gain. Nothing is given freely, nothing is taken without purpose. This is why Machiavelli admired the nature of the wolf. The wolf is not mindlessly aggressive. It is not reckless in its hunger. It is measured. It knows when to attack and when to wait. It knows that a poorly timed strike can cost more than a day's hunger. And so, the wolf moves only when movement will lead to survival or advantage. A wolf may run with a pack, but it is never chained to it. Its loyalty to the pack exists only as long as the pack serves its survival. It will hunt together because unity brings greater rewards. But it will not hesitate to stand apart if the group becomes weak, careless, or dangerous to its own survival. In the same way, a wise man or woman in the court of power must know when to align with others and when to walk away before the alliance turns into a cage. The wolf is a master of appearances. From a distance, it may appear calm, even indifferent. But that calm is not weakness. It is disguise. Beneath it is the constant calculation of a predator who is reading every movement, every shift of the air, every signal that others overlook. The wolf listens for the sound of an enemy's hesitation. It notices the smallest crack in a rival's defenses. And when the moment is right, it moves, not with hesitation, but with certainty. This is the nature you must awaken within yourself. The strategic nature of the wolf is not loud. It does not bark to announce itself. It does not seek to prove its strength through constant display. Its power is revealed in decisive moments, in actions that end debates, in moves that others never saw coming until it was too late to stop them. In the realm of politics, in business, in personal life, the wolf's greatest strength is its ability to choose when to be seen and when to disappear. A dog cannot hide. It is always there, always obedient, always available for the master's use. The wolf, however, is present only when it wishes to be, and because of this, its presence carries weight. When a wolf shows itself, others pay attention. The wolf's strategic nature is also in how it handles conflict. A dog meets every threat with barking and submission to the master's protection. The wolf chooses its battles. It understands that not every fight is worth the wounds it will cost. Some enemies are defeated not through open confrontation, but through patience. positioning, and silent undermining. The wolf can starve a rival without ever shedding blood, by cutting it off from resources, by isolating it, by letting time and circumstance do the killing. You must learn to think in the same way. Strategy is not just knowing how to win a fight, but how to win without having to fight at all. The wolf knows this. That is why it survives where others perish. A wolf understands that trust is not a gift. It is a transaction. It offers its cooperation only when there is mutual benefit, and it withdraws it the moment the balance tips against it. This does not make the wolf faithless, it makes it free. The dog, in contrast, gives its loyalty without question and is bound by it until death. Even in times of scarcity, the wolf does not beg. It hunts, it adapts, it changes its methods depending on the prey, the terrain, the season. If the herd moves, the wolf moves. If the prey becomes cautious, the wolf becomes patient. If the prey grows bold, the wolf becomes cunning. This flexibility is the essence of survival in a world that never remains the same for long. The wolf does not see itself as victim to the rules of others. Where the dog obeys, the wolf negotiates with reality itself. It knows that rules are not fixed. They are tools in the hands of those who can bend them. If a rule serves the wolf's purpose, it follows it. If a rule endangers the wolf, it breaks it. And it does so without apology, because survival is its only true law. Another trait of the wolf's strategic nature is its ability to appear weak when it is strong. A wolf can retreat to draw in its enemy. It can feign disinterest to lower a rival's guard. It can act as though it is yielding, only to position itself for the final strike. Those who are too eager to display power waste it. The wolf conserves its power until the exact moment it will have the greatest impact. In human terms, this means not revealing all of your capabilities, not making all of your ambitions known, and not allowing others to fully read you. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you are dependent. Let them think they understand your nature. And then, when the time comes, reveal the wolf they never expected. This is why in the courts of rulers, in the games of negotiation, in the hidden wars of influence, the wolf thrives. It can be both ally and threat, both shadow and presence, both silent and deadly. It moves according to its own design, never the design of those who would control it. The wolf knows that survival is not about constant aggression, but about perfect timing. It does not waste energy chasing every opportunity. It chooses the one that will feed it most and risk it least. And when that moment arrives, it does not hesitate. A dog hesitates, looking for permission. A wolf acts, knowing that hesitation can mean death. Loyalty, in the mouth of the knave, is a virtue. In the hands of the powerful, it is a weapon. Most people treat loyalty as something to be given freely, as if its mere existence will inspire others to return the favor. They pledge it without thought, without conditions, without understanding the price. And because they treat it as a gift, it is taken from them as if it were worthless. Machiavelli would tell you that loyalty given without calculation is a liability, not an asset. If you wish to survive among wolves, you must learn to turn your loyalty into leverage. This begins by abandoning the belief that loyalty is sacred in all circumstances. A dog gives its loyalty and expects protection in return. But the world is not a monastery where vows are honored. It is a market where everything, even devotion, is traded. Your loyalty must not be an unbreakable chain around your neck. It must be a rope you control, one you can tighten or loosen according to the benefit it brings. If it does not serve your strategy, it is not loyalty, it is servitude. The wolf understands this instinctively. It will hunt with the pack, because the pack multiplies its chances of survival. It will share in the feast because there is enough to go around. But the wolf does not forget that the pack exists only as long as it is strong. When the pack weakens, when it can no longer provide, when it becomes a burden rather than a strength, The wolf leaves without sentiment. It does not stay for the sake of loyalty alone, because in the wild, loyalty without gain is starvation. You must take this lesson into every room of power you enter. When you pledge yourself to someone, a leader, a friend, a partner, you must measure what they offer you in return. Not only in material reward, but in influence, protection, opportunity. If they give nothing but words, you must understand that your loyalty is being wasted. If they give you less than you give them, you must see the imbalance and correct it. Loyalty, in Machiavelli's eyes, is a transaction. And every transaction must bring you profit. Whether that profit is measured in safety, in advancement, or in knowledge. A dangerous truth is that people respect loyalty less when it is unconditional. They may praise it, they may call it noble, but they do not fear losing it. And what people do not fear losing, they will exploit. If you give your loyalty so freely that others are certain you will never withdraw it, you become invisible to them. They will not fight to keep you, because you have already told them they do not need to. But if your loyalty is rare, if it is conditional, if it can be lost, then it becomes valuable. They will work to maintain it. They will pay for it. They will guard it as they would guard gold. This is why the wolf is both feared and respected. It is loyal to the hunt, but not to the leash. It will follow a leader who proves strong and competent, but the moment that leader falters and becomes a liability, the wolf is gone. It does not stay to be dragged down into weakness. It chooses leaders as carefully as it chooses prey. Transforming loyalty into leverage also means knowing how to use its appearance to your advantage. There are times when showing loyalty, even if it is temporary or strategic, will grant you access to places you could never reach alone. The courtier who appears utterly devoted to the prince may gain entry to secrets, circles, and privileges that the openly independent could never obtain. But the wise courtier does not confuse appearance with reality. Behind the mask of loyalty, he watches, he learns, he positions himself for the moment when loyalty will no longer be needed and opportunity will be ripe. You must also understand that loyalty is currency in negotiations. If someone knows that gaining your allegiance will also grant them your skills, your influence, or your connections, then your loyalty is no longer a gesture. It is a bargaining chip. You can trade it for resources, protection, or power. But the moment you give it away without such a trade, you reduce its value to nothing. The wolf knows when to display loyalty and when to withhold it. It will guard the pack's territory fiercely when the pack is strong and united, but it will not throw itself into a hopeless battle for the sake of tradition or pride. It values its survival above outdated oaths. This is not cold-blooded betrayal. It is the recognition that in a world ruled by power, blind loyalty is a form of self-destruction. The key is to reverse the direction of dependence. Instead of you relying on others to protect you because of your loyalty, make them rely on you because they need your loyalty. This shift changes the entire dynamic. You are no longer the servant. You become the one whose presence strengthens the master. And in that position, you are far more difficult to discard. Machiavelli would say that loyalty should be given as one gives a loan, with terms, with limits, with an expectation of return. You must decide under what circumstances you will give it, how much you will give, and for how long. And you must also decide what will cause you to withdraw it. These boundaries are what transform loyalty from a shackle into a weapon. The dog waits to be rewarded for its loyalty, and often waits until it dies. The wolf rewards itself, using loyalty as a means to secure what it needs, and discarding it when it no longer serves its ends. This is the shift you must make, from loyalty as a moral obligation to loyalty as a calculated investment. When you master this, you will find that those in power will not merely accept your loyalty, they will fear losing it. And that fear will keep you fed. protected, and positioned exactly where you wish to be. The price of staying a dog is not paid in a single moment. It is collected over years, quietly, piece by piece, until one day you realize that everything you could have been has been stripped from you. The leash you accepted so willingly becomes your inheritance. The bowl you once believed was a gift becomes your prison. And yet, most do not notice the cost until it is far too late. The dog lives in a world of dependency. It waits to be told when to move, when to eat, when to rest, when to act. This dependency robs it of initiative. A dog that is fed every day forgets how to hunt. A dog that is sheltered every night forgets how to find shelter for itself. This is the slow decay of capability, the withering of instinct, and it is the first price you pay for obedience without sovereignty. Those who stay dogs in the realm of power suffer a more dangerous fate. Their dependence is not only on food or shelter, but on validation. They begin to live for the approval of those above them. Every word of praise is a ration. Every small reward is a leash adjustment. And soon, they cannot imagine life without it. They fear displeasing the master more than they fear losing themselves. This fear becomes the invisible chain that holds them in place long after the actual chain has been removed. A dog cannot choose its destiny. It is chosen for it. It will guard a gate, but never decide what the gate protects. It will hunt when commanded, but never decide what prey is worth the chase. Its loyalty is owned, its labor is owned, its very identity is owned. And the tragedy is that most dogs believe this arrangement is safety. They tell themselves that being owned is better than being alone. But in truth, it is the slowest, most suffocating death. The price of staying a dog is also measured in opportunities lost. While you are busy fetching the stick thrown by another, someone else is claiming the territory you could have ruled. While you are waiting for permission to act, someone else is moving into position. While you are busy guarding someone else's crown, someone else is building their own. Dogs are always busy working for the vision of another, never for their own, and do not think that loyalty will protect you when you are no longer useful. The master feeds the dog as long as it guards the gate well. But one day, a younger, stronger, faster dog will appear, and without ceremony, without gratitude, you will be replaced. Your years of service will not buy you a safe place to rest. Your history of obedience will not shield you from being discarded. Because to those who hold the leash, loyalty is never reason enough to keep a dog that can no longer run. In politics, in business, in every sphere where power is currency, the dog's fate is the same. The loyal servant works harder than anyone, sacrifices more than anyone, yet remains invisible when decisions are made. The dog's voice is never heard in the council, its advice never sought. It exists to execute orders, not to shape them. And because it has spent its life following commands, it would not know how to lead, even if given the chance. The emotional toll of staying a dog is just as brutal. Over time, the constant submission corrodes the mind. You begin to second-guess your own instincts, because you are accustomed to someone else deciding for you. You begin to distrust your own vision, because you have been trained to believe that the master's vision is the only one worth pursuing. You become smaller, quieter, less certain, until one day you no longer recognize the person you were before the leash. The cruelest part is that the dog often defends its own captivity. It will bark at anyone who suggests the leash should be removed. It will argue that the bowl is full, that the yard is safe, that the master is kind. It will tell itself and others that freedom is dangerous, that independence is lonely, that wolves die alone in the cold. This is how the mind of the obedient protects itself, by calling weakness a choice, by calling dependence wisdom. But Machiavelli would tell you that the wolf's death is preferable to the dog's life. The wolf may face hunger, it may face danger, but it faces them as its own master. The dog's life is easier, but it is borrowed. Every comfort it has can be taken away in an instant. And when that happens, the dog is helpless, for it has forgotten how to survive without a hand to feed it. There is also the humiliation. The humiliation of watching those with less loyalty but more cunning rise above you. The humiliation of realizing that those you served without question have no hesitation in replacing you. The humiliation of understanding, too late, that you were never respected, only used. These moments cut deeper than any wound from an enemy because they reveal the truth that has been hidden behind years of praise and pats on the head. The price of staying a dog is, ultimately, the loss of your sovereignty. You give away the right to choose your battles, your alliances, your path. You surrender the right to decide who you are and what you will become. And you do it not in one dramatic gesture, but in countless small acts of obedience that feel harmless at the time. Each, yes, you give without thought. Each moment you wait for orders instead of acting. Each time you silence your own judgment in favor of someone else's. These are the coins with which you pay for your leash, and when the bill comes due, you will find that what you have bought with your obedience is not protection, not power, not respect, but dependency so complete that you cannot imagine life without it. The world will have moved on. The master will have found a new servant, and you will be left with nothing but the memory of the leash you once believed was your security. So now, you have seen the truth laid bare. The dog in you is the servant of another's will, and the wolf in you is the master of its own fate. Machiavelli would not beg you to choose, he would demand it. For in this world, safety is an illusion, and loyalty without power is a slow execution. You can continue to wear the leash, to eat from the bowl, to wait for the hand that feeds you. Or you can sharpen your teeth, reclaim your hunger, and step into the wild with the cunning of the wolf. The dog seeks to please, the wolf seeks to prevail. The dog accepts the scraps, the wolf takes the feast. The dog asks for permission, the wolf makes its own law. Kill the dog in you, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Let the parts of you that crave approval starve until only strength remains. Let the instincts that have been dulled by obedience awaken. Stand in the world not as property, but as predator. And when the world sees you coming, it will not see a servant, it will see a force that cannot be tamed.